Hi, my name is Michael Clark.
Hi, I'm Andrew Piper, and this is HauntedSpaceHotel.
And we're here today at Strategicon 2025, which we're very, very happy to be here. A bunch of people who like strategy games, just like we do. Yeah, go ahead, show them our picture.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's us.
we're both from San Diego. We've been working together for quite some time, but on this venture, we've been working out for the last few years.
Yeah, we've been working together a very, very long time. We did some contracts for big companies like Google and Apple, but we also invented, as you can see here, a bunch of games. And we're very much into game theory, and all of that manifested in several games, Feline or Fox, and Fausto's Forbidden Flower, which we did as a collaborative venture with the Elfman family. That's really cool. Then a couple of other games we invented. Oh, I mentioned the Experience X API here, which we did some contracting with at Google, and that led us to Experience Master, which is a way to rate your friends. Sounds right? Anyway, that all led to the Action Hex, which is there in the lower right-hand side.
Yeah, that's the mechanic that drives both of the games, HauntedSpaceHotel Vacancy and HauntedSpaceHotel Manager. Vacancy is a co-op sprawling game.
That's right.
For PC at the moment. It's on Steam, and we have a free demo. It's a massive game where we explore all 6 of our different alien species. We explore the 6 different guilds, and we get to know them well with the different quest series. And ultimately, we ask questions about biological and artificial life and the possibility of escaping permanently.
And that's in straight contrast to the board game, which is PvP, 6-player, only one winner, but the premise is still the same. You still use that same action hex mechanic, which is spectacular, and you try and make the best hotel out of all your fellow players.
Okay, our game is run by the rule of 6. So we saw that action hex earlier, that's at the crux of it. There's 6 of most things in our game. There's 6 different factions, species, biological species in the game. They have, and there's 6 different guilds, which are basically epics in the game. And there's 6 of those as well. The core 6 actions you take in our game are research, logic, staff, renovation, advertisement, and ghost. And we'll have each one of the species introduce each of those mechanics as we go along.
Yeah, now we're going to do some immersive storytelling, and we'll start by going through each of our species, but then we'll also show you their mechanic and how that works in game. I believe our first species is the Deep, which is spectacular.
Okay, the Deep. They're about research, and they're one of the more heady races.
They're the first aquatic species to achieve space flight. That's one of the things I find most fascinating about them.
Yeah, and as an aquatic species, they have a much different evolutionary background to the other ones. Where other species might have been inventing fire, that wasn't so simple for the Deep, right? They were more likely using underwater volcanoes to smelt resources.
Yeah, how do you make fire underwater anyway?
Yeah, very difficult prospect.
Yeah. So really great. They're very, very smart, and everything they do revolves around this intellectual pursuit of knowledge.
Which brings us to broader questions about intelligence and the way it is shaped both biologically and technologically. Are there thresholds for intelligence, and are those thresholds biological and technological, or neither?
Yeah, let's talk about their mechanics a little bit. So the Deep, as we said, specialize in research, and you see here they have an advanced research building, which only takes 1 stat, which is really great, but it also gives you a random action as well. So these 2 things come together to make Deep extremely research-oriented.
Yeah, and with that comes a downside. They have to make everything have the ability to support an aquatic environment. So, as you might imagine, that creates a real problem when they're renovating things on their hotels. So, while their research is powerful, their renovation is not. They struggle and require more robotic staff to get the same thing done that other species get done.
They also founded the Science Guild, or Science Academy, sorry, Science Academy, I gotta say it correctly. And this is one of their buildings. This is the observatory building. And this card is a deep researcher. And so he has the observatory as the amenity that he really likes.
Yeah, the Science Guild, again, they're about breaking the thresholds of consciousness and examining the universe as we know it. Those observatories were what allowed the deep to make first contact with all the other species first.
Yeah, they did it first because
Yeah.
of those great observatories. All right, let's keep going here. There it is. So this is actually the mechanic of how research works in both our games. Go ahead.
Okay, so in Vacancy,
These are backwards.
no, they're not.
This is Vacancy. This is Vacancy.
Oh, yeah. So in Vacancy on the left, you are able to research things not just at a whim, but when certain satisfied guests drop them, and their little pickups you can run around and get. That's the primary way currently of getting new things to research in game. And in Manager, the board game, it's a bit more straightforward. There's a pool of things you can research, and if you take research
Like
action,
this is the bar amenity.
you can research the bar, and then if you research it again, you can upgrade the bar. Upgraded rooms take less staff to operate, and may have other benefits as well.
Maybe. So that's research. So we've covered one of the actions available to us.
Yeah, that's the first
So
one.
we'll turn this action hex one notch, and that
Well,
should
not quite yet.
No. Oh.
First, we need to talk about our actual
Our
research. So
Yes, I
our
agree.
research, we're shouting out a bunch of really amazing board games, movies. And
Yeah, first, Great Bird of the Galaxy. Yes. Gene Roddenberry. All hail.
There's
all
too
hail.
many things to actually fit on
exactly,
this slide,
exactly.
but these are just some of them. We love the aesthetics of Treasure Planet. StarCraft was one of the first games that inspired me to think about aliens as a
These are
child.
the board game people. Twilight Imperium.
Yes, Twilight Imperium is
They definitely
amazing.
know that.
Gloomhaven, another amazing game.
Eclipse, yes, please.
XCOM has a board game as well. So anyway, these are some of the things that inspired us, and I think if you explore our universe, you'll see little bits of these properties hidden throughout.
There are a few Easter eggs out there too. So these are the research equipment. that we
Yes,
use.
yes.
So I work primarily in Unreal.
To take a step back, when I was developing the mechanics for this game, I did so almost primarily in Tabletop Simulator. So we could try out new mechanics, get new cards, and do that all virtually. We were also able to connect with other people online and play test in large
Super
groups,
helpful.
and we didn't all have to be in the same space. So a real shout out to Tabletop Simulator and its malleability as a workspace, and as well as just a fun way to play tabletop games. I have done the majority of the art for this game in Blender, which is an open source tool, and
Unreal Engine's open source too.
I educated myself primarily in YouTube. When I first started using Blender 3 years ago, I'd never used, I'd only used modeling engines a little bit, and I'd never used Blender before, and just through YouTube I was able to bring myself up to a pretty competent level.
I taught myself Unreal too, but that's no great accomplishment for me.
Yeah, we're organization nerds, so we use Jira, even though it's the two of us most of the time.
So here, I'll do it. Jira, Fruity Loops, Screbus, Inkscape, React.js, Git, GIMP, Kden Live, which is a video editor, VoiceMod, which is how we do our own voices. Then across the bottom, that's Gemini. Yes, we do use AI, but only as a glorified spell check. And then the rest of the Google Workspace. And of course, because I'm that guy, I wrote a Python application to play the game for us. So
yes,
we could play test at
that
24/7.
helped really shave the edges off. We were able to play
It did.
thousands of virtual games and find a few corner cases that way that maybe wouldn't have shown
Yeah,
themselves quite so.
six-player game with an AI took under 2 minutes. So
Yeah, versus
it really helped.
in real life that'd probably be at least an hour.
Several hours,
Yeah.
probably. Anyway, yeah, research equipment. Now do we
Okay.
turn the dial?
I believe now we turn the dial.
Okay, let's
No.
okay.
No.
One more thing. Anyway, so this is our tech tree, which is amazing and has several thousand nodes to it. And that's a zoom in of it in the upper right-hand corner. The thing that I really like about our tech tree is that it's attached to your character, and you can go to different hotels and you take your character with you.
Yeah.
So that follows you wherever you're going. And if your friends have different neurons than you do, all of that stacks, and it makes for a much more fun play experience with more people.
Yeah, very cooperative.
Yeah, that's a bummer about that video. Hopefully the rest of them may have to take a tech support moment there. All right, we turned the dial. Now we're on to the stem.
The stem are going to introduce us to lodging. Yeah, the stem at their core. Well, I'll go into their history really briefly.
Yeah, please.
The stem before they were sentient, were a biological weapon that were deployed on some planet to kill some ancient species. That most of the record is gone in our universe, and we don't really know the details of that. But we can say that after they wiped out this species, they lay dormant for quite some time, and eventually something happened that allowed them to wake up, and they slowly started to form culture from the ruins of the society that they destroyed, and to the point where they get more and more sophisticated, and they grew into ever more specialized, sophisticated shapes.
You glossed over one thing though, right? The species that got wiped out by this plague, more or less, they were pacifists, right? And they were into game theory and all the rest of that. So as the stem evolved, because they were in this environment of this pacifist species, they became pacifists themselves.
Yeah, and they think gaming is a good choice for the galaxy as opposed to some other methods of conflict. And they like to grow, to shape themselves physically and mentally to fit the problems that they face.
And they can grow to be anything.
Yeah, STEM are really special. They can purposefully grow themselves towards certain objects. So in this picture, you see the STEM in the foreground is adapted a more humanoid shape to deal with.
Yeah, it's just a regular old stem.
Yeah, to deal with the other
stem can also
species.
grow to be starship size.
Yeah, you can see there's a bus in the background. That's an actual living entity that has grown large enough to incorporate other entities inside of it. So it's basically a giant hollowed out bus that can fly around and provide transport for his fellow.
Anyway, we'll talk science fiction more all day. Let's keep going on that.
So yeah, the STEM.
Mechanics of the stem.
We covered their biology. Here there's a room. They can also, they grow their buildings as well. Their buildings aren't necessarily sentient, or at least they aren't after the sentient that's growing them leaves.
Yes, exactly.
The stem struggle with advertisement because they primarily speak through spores, and so
just the spore-based species.
they don't have any vocal cords.
You know several spore-based species.
Unless they specifically grow them. So the STEM struggle with advertisement, but they're really good at lodging, which is synthesizing and making all the compounds and things and foods required to sustain life.
So we'll talk more about lodging in a minute.
Yeah, that's what they excel at. And the Gambling Commission is the commission that they founded. And so again, that goes back to their roots in gaming.
And that is their home world that you can actually visit in game. So most of the things you see here, you can actually touch in game.
Yeah, there's their chilly home world. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, lodging.
Lodging. So
Now it's on the correct side.
isn't that nice? In Vacancy, your lodging is constantly draining down, and you have to add charges to maintain it, as well as gain new lodgings to support multiple different species, or really support one species. It's a similar mechanic in Manager, but in Manager, you simply gain and then upgrade permits, or try and attack your fellow players and remove their permits.
If another player is winning, you can beat back their lodging, at which point their guests become unhappy and their game tanks, which is good for you.
Yeah.
And lodging is basically the question that Guy asked here. Is there air?
Is there air? Yeah.
So that's what lodging is.
Okay, to us, lodging, this step is the STEM kind of represent prototyping and the more malleable phase of development. Here we're showing a screenshot of Tabletop Simulator, and that's a really early version of the game with some placeholder icons.
Very placeable.
Yeah, and then in the other screenshot.
No, I'm not willing to talk about it. That's the React piece. It's got a Python backend. This is all you'll ever see of it. Never see it again. There you go. Oh, yay! Yay, yay, yay. We get to talk about the Hex.
Yeah, Hex are going to introduce us to our next set of actions here. Hex are an insect, an insectoid species. As you can see, they got 6 limbs. That's why they're the Hex. They live on a tidally locked planet. That means the planet always faces the sun on the same side. It doesn't rotate. So they live in kind of a perpetual twilight on their equatorial ring that they live on. They used to be about growing castes to meet different performative roles in their society. There's warriors and workers and engineers and scientists, and they're all bred differently. And there were queens, and they're all bred differently. But now, in this point in our universe, they've given away most of those jobs to robotic staff. So now they all have a more generic form that more closely resembles the queens of old. So now they're all have a similar level of agency and prowess in their society.
I'll edit those videos into this.
Yeah.
It's really fun. So the places that are blank to us will look like videos to you. It's kind of fun. And Hex, it's all about more. So for us, this particular species / staff action lead us to think of multiplayer, which is really important to us, which is why we created both Manager, which is not cooperative, and Vacancy, which is cooperative. It's very important to us in a game. There we go, the Hex, yay.
So yeah, they're really good at staffing. We'll go into the staffing in a moment. Now what they're not so good at is ghosts. Ghosts are scary to them. They struggle dealing with ghosts. They need extra robot staff to help them deal with ghosts. They were the founders of the theater guild. So they were the first thespians, yes. And they have a very performative culture and way of talking to
In our universe, the Hex manufacture all of the robotic staff. They are in charge of that. That's due to the AI wars and all the rest of that kind of stuff that is in our lore. But right now, in both Manager and Vacancy, the Hex are in charge of making staff.
Here are the staff.
Here's staff.
So in Vacancy, staff are, actually it's pretty similar in both.
They're pretty similar.
You generate staff using staff actions. In Vacancy, you have to charge up your staff a bit more. But in both games, staff are required to man your buildings in order for them to work. Upgraded buildings need just 1 staff, regular buildings need 2, and weakness rooms require 3. So that's one of the
1, 2, 3.
Yep.
On the left, you see in Vacancy, you would click the appropriate room to activate it. In Manager, you move the little pawns onto the locations. Right. Oh boy.
So yeah, this is the play testing phase of things.
Massively old playtesting.
Yeah. So there again, we have a tabletop simulator, an even older version than the previous picture we used.
That's like 5 years ago.
Yeah, and another one is the actual one of the first real live versions we printed out. So yeah, staffing is about actually
playing in
implementing
tabletop simulator is fun, but playing in real life, it was next level. It was so fun. I really, really love it. Wow, that's an old version. There it is. Oh yay, the Dread.
Okay, Dread.
Oh, I'll talk about it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Dread have 6 fingers, which is pretty amazing.
On all 4 of their appendages.
And they have them on all 4 of their appendages. And they have a prehensile tail. So it's pretty cool. You see some kids playing here in this beginning of the animated short that we're going to do of them. And you see one of their ships up there in the background as well. They like those rigid edges. One of the things I like the best about the Dread is that their weakness is research. They don't typically do research Instead, they use their chains to rip apart other technologies and assimilate them into their own. So they're very much a formidable force because they've stolen all of the best technology in the galaxy and put it on their ships. I really, really like that.
Yeah, rip things apart and put them back together. That's what the Dread are all about.
Yeah, so they specialize in renovation, the opposite of the Deep. And as you can see here, their renovation room takes only one staff and comes with a random action generator, which is really, really clutch in Manager. So that's super duper fun. They also invented the bar association. As you can see, there's a bar here, and here's the three-dimensional bar going on right here. The bar association is one of the 6 guilds, and the unique thing about the bar association is if you have a bar on your hotel and any bar association guest comes along, they'll be satisfied. They don't need a bed, they don't need anything else.
Yeah, they're about self-sufficiency.
They just need a bar.
But if you don't have a bar, they might break things up a bit. They might get a little angry.
They have some
might
bad
tear up.
stuff.
They might tear up the place.
And
But
you can also send them to your friends and be all like, okay, friend, here, have this. And if they don't accommodate them, they can have some bad stuff happen. And bad stuff's true in both games. All right, here we go. Renovation. This is their speciality. It's how we get rooms on, off, move, or sell. Did I get them all in order? More or less, in the hotel. So anytime you want to actually implement something in your hotel, that's renovation, just like in real life.
yeah, you research all this stuff, but unless you've renovated on your station, it doesn't
Those
do
are
you much
two
good.
different things on the opposite ends of the action hex.
That's right.
So doing research and renovation together, very challenging.
I made a musical instrument. It's called a hand pan. It's like a steel drum, but a little bit different, a little bit smaller. And I made one of these. I used real life inspiration. I looked at pictures of them. And then I generated one in Blender, which is what you're seeing now. I was able to use a bunch of shapes to inlay on this dome, exact nice flat spaces. And then I was able to use these little orbs and then offset those into the drum. So now the drum has these nice flat spaces and these divots. So it would actually work the way like a real hand pan would, make the appropriate noises.
Then you make a nice stand.
I make a nice stand for it next, and that is adjustable. And then finally, I export it into FBL format.
And then I take that into Unreal, and in this video you'll see that I not only take in the drums and all of that, but I also take in the animation for the Deep character, and then
you're gonna play each one of those animations just to make sure they
I
work.
show you each of the animations so you can see all the animations in contrast. And then after that, we actually I take some high resolution pictures of the guy so you can see how all of that goes, but ultimately we want him in the theater building. So I take that character, I put him in the theater building and put a spotlight on him and animate him. And now we switch and you can actually see us in game walking into the theater and seeing the Deep player going at it on his drums. Really, really fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving right along to the not blank screen. Just click outside. There you go. Oh, yay! Yay.
So here we're on to our 5th species, the Honored. To talk about the Honored is to talk about our galactic currency of snow. So we're going to cover both those things. This is a picture. In the foreground is a happy Honored family there. He's not sacrificing his child. He's just holding them up like the statue in the background.
He's gonna throw him off.
No, he's not. And in the background, we have one of the revered figures of the Honored Society, Akusi Gorn. He was the first emperor, first global emperor of the Honored species, and he found the first snow altar deep below the crust of their homeworld. And there they found ancient technologies that they didn't understand and were slowly able to reverse engineer, and were able to make this substance called snow, which is at the very foundation of our universe's finance. Now, Snow is basically a very complicated set of nanites that, when interfaced with consciousness in sufficient amounts, can be used to generate just about anything. So it's both a currency stuff and a good, a physical good that can be
And a whole
turned in.
religion
And a whole religion
really
founded
manifested
around
around that whole thing, because they have a god technology that they can wield to make anything. And so, yeah, of course a religion starts around
The
that.
Honored Society is now all about finding the different snow altars that the first one was found on their homeworld. Now they're trying to find all the other ones in the galaxy and turn them all on, because they feel that that's their
due.
that's their god's
Yeah, exactly.
demand.
Good, excellent.
Yeah, the Honored.
Keep going. Let's make sure this is still going. It's still going.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that's the Honored and their religion.
To our
As you
own
can
tech.
see, that we got
Oh yeah, this is their
Honored worshippers. That's
a snow altar.
Snow altar. That's what the worshippers, the Honored worshippers, and all worshippers now, because there's worshippers of all different species at this point in our galaxy. That's the snow altar where they worship. Here's the actual 3D representation.
That's right. And their weakness is logic,
Logic.
right? So those
Can't-
are opposite on the...
Yeah, can't be bothered to deal with all that logic stuff because they're too busy advertising. They really need to get out there and spread the good news to everybody.
I also think they're not as accommodating as the STEM are. The STEM want to accommodate everybody, and the Honored just want more
Yeah,
worship.
they're a bit more self-centered in that regard. Yeah. So,
All right, so that's the mechanics behind the Honored.
and now we'll get to the actual mechanics of advertisement.
Yes.
In Vacancy, there's a whole station where guests are constantly filtering through as the different shifts go by. More guests will show up during certain shifts. If you have Vacancy turned on, they'll just show up and populate your hotel. Once they do, they'll pay you both snow, but they also might drop fancy little rooms and robots and things for you to
Drop all
actually
kinds
use
of really good
if
stuff.
you've made them happy by providing their lodging and or their a bedroom and or an amenity that they like.
And you can see here, that's a guest card right here.
Yeah, and so in Manager, you actually advertise these guests that are out in orbit, and they come and they dock onto your station.
Hotel. And
Hotel.
yes, this is
Stationary hotel.
really the core mechanic behind how you make money in Manager and Vacancy. The answer is you book guests into your hotel. It's really that straightforward. The more guests you book, the more money you make. Oh
Okay.
yeah, by the way.
Yeah, and to us, advertising is getting the word out about our game. So yes, please consider buying Vacancy.
Please buy Vacancy.
There's a free demo on Steam if
You
you
get it
want to
for
check it out first.
Or buy it.
And Manager is a board game that is coming into being and currently has a Kickstarter page. If you subscribe there, it'll notify you when our Kickstarter goes live.
Yeah, as you saw, the game is done, right? I have a manual. I could show you the manual. We have a physical copy of the game. Yeah, here it is, Steve. Ooh, really awesome. So we can accept followers right now on Kickstarter. So
Yeah, that would be amazing.
go to Kickstarter
Yeah.
and follow us. That would be
Wishlist us on
extremely
Steam, buy us on
helpful.
Steam.
By this time next year, in time for next year's Halloween, we should have that available for you to buy. So we're super stoked about that. Again, the game is done. We're looking for manufacturers and publishers to get it to you at a reasonable cost. Ooh, yes.
Okay, finally, the seed.
It's the last of our 6 species.
The seed are a bit more mysterious.
Ancient.
They're really ancient, and in fact, some of the historical record points to them having a homeworld before the homeworld that they currently live on or were living on now. The world that they call their homeworld in this local space that we know of met with some terrible tragedy,
Pretty terrible.
ghost related, and has become uninhabitable. And so what you see here is a picture from a havering that they live on. that havering here in the back, you can see it in a few different spots. So they are spacefaring species, not really by choice. So that's the seed circumstance. They are kind of they slither along the ground, but they also have wings. So they're really kind of dynamic in their movement.
Cool. Next slide. Let's have a look at it. Here we go. There's
And here
one
we are.
right there.
There's the seed, and there is his havering. So yeah, that's where they're currently mostly living now, and there's his destroyed
that they can't live on.
destroyed planet in the background. Yes, and in response to this tragedy, they created the Seeker Guild, and they like the ghost menageries.
Ghost
so
seekers.
these are places where we can contain, study, and learn about ghosts in our universe. And the Seekers are a special kind of breed because they can remove ghosts from the board. And
Yeah, I think our
generate.
next slide is on the ghost mechanics. So we should.
Yeah, just really quickly, they're bad at
Oh,
robots.
yes.
They have an innate mistrust
They don't like
of robotic machinery and everything else, and so their extra protocols of safety around those things cause them to take more time to generate and maintain their staff, whereas their ghost handling has become really proficient, and that's their upgraded building. So ghosts are, in both games, they come in, they attach to your docks, and they block up your docks and don't allow guests to stay there. So you have to take ghost actions to remove them. In Manager, it's as simple as taking ghost actions, which requires a roll of fate, so it may or may not be work to remove or add ghosts to your enemies. In Vacancy, we have these ghost handlers which run around the ship and shoot the ghosts and try and maintain things for you. But an added wrinkle in Vacancy is that there's many different types of ghosts. In Manager, there's one ghost. In Vacancy, there's multiple different kinds. And they have these evolutionary modes where some ghosts beget other ghosts, and certain thresholds of ghosts are met. They can evolve into other kinds of things. And that mystery is something that you learn about over the course of the game.
It's definitely a core game mechanic in Vacancy. And yeah, you chase these ghasts all over the hotel.
Yeah, the player and the ghost handler both can actually go around and zap them, and so that's one thing she'll be doing in Vacancy.
And Trolley is very helpful. You
Yes.
see Trolley there in the picture in the lower right hand corner. He's our friend in the hotel, and he helps us cleanse because the little girl protocol modified him to have some special powers. Yeah, we talked about the little girl. Shh. Okay, moving on. There's Trolley again. That's Trolley with some things. You see he picked up a few things, and
It's got some inventory there.
and he would take those to a particular room. You see below that, these are room service cards. So these are guests actually asking for particular things in room service. You put those things in Trolley, send Trolley up to that room, and they pay you in some way, shape, or form for those things. So again, just like a real life hotel. Nifty. Oh boy. Okay, so in our universe, we take AI very, 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 very seriously because along history there was the AI wars, which went very, very poorly for everyone. And now there's a brand new government that has really embraced the ideas necessary in order to keep the population appeased and still maintain the AI thing. AIs are mostly banned except for the non-sentient staff like you see in robots.
Yeah, also in our universe, there's an Engram collective. So basically, they figured out a way to scan brains into the ether, and they have those scanned brains so form like this coalition, and they are responsible for running the things like robots and everything else. So they don't really trust artificial intelligence that isn't being run or governed by an engram, something that was once biological and now is not.
Exactly.
So.
So the government is called the factional omniarchy of snow. So factional because we have 6 factions, an omniarchy, which means that it's there to empower you to do anything that you want, other than kill people, obviously. But the entire idea is to cure boredom and to make sure that you're satisfied as a citizen of this galactic-wide civilization. And as you see, it all centers around snow. Everything's snow-oriented now because it's a currency and it's an actual manifestation tool. So it really became important. The Xenorama here in the lower right-hand corner, that's an immersive story that's included in Vacancy, where you can go in and learn more or less everything that we just told you, except in a really neat immersive storytelling way that you actually get to interact with the adventure that goes on.
And it's specifically meant to be you as an AI, as an artificial being. This is your first contact with what the biological beings want to show you and want you to know about the universe. So that's the nature of the Xenorama. And
that's what the Cypraxianism is down the left as part of their overall plan.
These are the variables that they want the AI to consider.
Exactly.
And these are the variables that the biological beings think are important or worth considering.
Beautiful. Excellent. And now we get to talk about the real meat. This has to do with the main storyline of our game. So first off, we need to define the word transcendence, which is something that most people probably don't encounter in their day-to-day life. The Webster's dictionary says transcend is extending or lying beyond the limits of ordinary experience. What we're talking about here is what happens when you die, more or less.
Well, and can you overcome death? And in our universe, they have figured out multiple ways. There's one way that the Seekers have founded or think they have an idea of how to do, which is a biological transcendence that requires very specific and strict ways of living and focusing your body and mind.
Personal enlightenment.
Yes, right, a biological transcendence that is less tangible and obvious than the technological transcendence, which is something that the Hex have pioneered. And they actually have a server you can point to that actually has this thing that is an exact copy, and for all intents and purposes is, depending on your point of view, the extended existence of a being that was once biological.
The consciousness of that biologic.
Yes.
And this picture, interestingly enough, is of the Great Engram Collective. So it's our perspective on what that technological transcendence would look like, because it's very tangible. You can actually go, not really pay for, but you can go and earn the right to technologically transcend. So these are servers that exist throughout the galaxy, and your consciousness is spread among them and everything else. The most important thing is, I would parallel it to heaven, right? When you transcend, you get everything you always wanted. You can do anything you want. You can be anything you want. It's just a next level of existence. And our society here on Earth, we only ever talk about biological transcendence, but through artificial intelligence, we are now getting closer and closer and closer to this idea that I could, in theory, preserve my consciousness in some way, shape, or form. Ray Kurzweil, who I used to work down the hall from, very much into the idea of, I'm going to bring my dad back based on a bunch of data. This society is that exact same thing, except they have a technology that will actually clone your engrams into this great network. So biological versus technological transcendence. Spoiler alert, in our game as an artificial sentience, you get to choose which one of these things survives.
Yeah, in the current state that Vacancy exists in, both these things exist, but they are at odds with each other, and neither one can continue to exist while the other one is thriving. So you are placed with making a decision of which transcendence you're going to try and foster, and which one you're going to let wither.
Oh yeah, shout out to Tron, please, hello.
But in our universe, instead of traveling into a computer, the honored are obsessed with traveling into snow altars, the ancient technology that they found, and their science fiction is captured with the idea of that.
Really awesome. I love this picture. You could leave it up there all day. That's fun. Beautiful. So some acknowledgments. First, Tabletop Simulator. Thank you again. Oh my gosh, how empowering is that? We're working with Off the Shelf Games in San Diego. That's a picture of us actually playing in their store. So love playing in stores. If you have a store and would like to play with us, please let us know. Copy It helped us in San Diego by helping us print out our first new generation of this board game, and we're super happy with that. Our family and friends took a real gamble on us. That's a slot machine straight out of our game. We have lots of gambling in our game.
Yeah, so much help with all the play testing.
So thank you for our family and friends. And one more shout out is Chimera Press, who are talking to us about doing graphic novels in the next year. So if you're interested in that, please do hit us up.
Okay, one more time.
Plug. HauntedSpaceHotel.com.
Yeah, Vacancy is an amazing game on Steam. Got a free demo. We're in early access.
Get it now.
We're releasing new features all the time. We hope to be feature complete in the next year or so.
That'd be great.
Yeah, so please do check that out. Maybe someday it might exist in some other form other than Steam, but right now Steam is where it's at.
It's on my hit list.
And Manager is, we got a Kickstarter page in its infancy, so please do help us grow that by subscribing to that.
And I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think that one more.
Nope. So there you go. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you all very much.
Fantastic. We really enjoyed Strategicon. We met some great people today, and we hope to meet you and have you play our game. Please let us know how we can play with you. And if you have any more questions about our game, visit us at HauntedSpaceHotel.com.
All right, thank you very much.